Okay, so we're gonna talk about walking, and walking is one of the more complex behaviors because there's a lot happening when we're going for walks. So one of the things that you should understand is that the leash tells your dog where he needs to be, and we're pretty much just gonna leave that leash nice. Yes, he really likes to be a good boy. We're just gonna leave that leash slack. If he's forging ahead, I will actually oftentimes have my leash behind my back and in my hand like that. And then then that can allow me to have a little bit more control of him. And then, yeah, good boy, yes. Good job. That can allow me to have a little bit more control of him. So I'll have my food rewards on my heel side, which for him is the right, and then my leash will be in the left, and I'll have it nice and loose. But what I wanted to teach you guys about tonight is that leash actually gives him direction, which you'll notice I haven't been using the harness. When I pull on the harness, it's actually quite confusing because it doesn't give direction. When I pull on the harness, it pulls from the front, but it also puts pressure on the side. So he has pressure like on 3 different parts of his body. So it's just simply not as clear. It doesn't tell him where he's supposed to go or what he's supposed to do. So I'm gonna show you how I can use pressure to ask him to back up, pressure to ask him to come into heel. And he knows these things off of verbal cue, which means he's licking my toes. He knows these things off of verbal cue, which means that he doesn't necessarily need a hand cue or leash pressure, but I'm not going to use the verbal because I want you to see how leash pressure works. So it's through pressure and release. So very rarely will I bother my dog with the leash. So I won't harass him and hang on him or shorten the leash up, and you'll never see me walking like this. So my baseline is always this. If I need to shorten my leash to correct him for any reason, I'll take my left hand or my right hand and I'll slide it down the leash. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you. I'm gonna go this way. So pressure straight upwards tells him to sit. So pressure straight upwards tells him to sit. Pressure straight downwards tells him to down. And I can even put him into heel that way. I'll ask him to sit again. Straight up. When he's correct, I must give him slack. If I don't give him slack, he's gonna, first thing, I might have the wrong answer. He might try to do silly things like stand up on his hind legs, or he might try to back up or just be like, oh, that didn't work to turn off pressure, so I'm gonna try to do something else. But if you're consistently not turning off pressure at the correct time, he will learn to ignore pressure because it doesn't have meaning, which is why most dogs do pull on a leash. So I'm gonna ask him to come back into heel position without talking, and you're gonna see how I slide my hand down and pair it with a step back. Good. When I'm not treating, I say good. So when I want him to sit, I just pull straight up and then slack comes after that. I would like him to sit back up. Good. So if he doesn't sit back up, let's say he's being lazy and wanting to stay laying down, then I would actually not pull harder, so I wouldn't keep pulling up. I don't want to scare him. I would actually use my voice to help him come up. If I want him to move backwards, all I have to do is move my hand back, and I can move him behind me. So I'm going to move my hand back, and I'm going to move back with him for a nice backup. Good boy. You can have a treat because you're a good boy. So hand back. See how that gives him that information, and see how readily he's willing to listen with really soft pressure? It's because I'm not always hanging on him. So I've got the leash nice and loose. So being mindful when you're out walking that you're not tightening up that leash. The only time you would want to tighten that leash is if you're going to correct him. So like if he's going too far in front of you, just like there, you're gonna slide that hand down and fix it. Good. So see, that's what you're gonna do if he ever crosses out in front of you. Most of the time he's gonna walk really good. You would just slide and move him back. See how easily he moves off that pressure? And then when he's correct, I'm gonna ask him, yep. When he's guessing. So straight up. Good. I add verbal if he ignores it. And then look, the slap and the leash is the reward. Now I can ask him to lay down, just with leash pressure, sit back up. He's very dedicated to that down position. So that leash is actually a way of communicating with your dog. So I have a plain old slip leash on him. This is what the vets will give you at the vet clinic. It's just like a loop leash. I honestly think his best collar option would be the Star Mark puppy training collar. And that is an adjustable collar. I've got one here. That is an adjustable collar that you add and remove links to. This is going to get you through his teenage years. You should only need to buy one. It actually comes with 2 collars. That's not a toy. It is a correction collar, so you can be really gentle with your hand, and he's not going to be pulling on it very much. It doesn't tighten up too much, and it's not actually, it's a Star Mark puppy collar, not a Harmspringer puppy collar. The Harmspringers are around $60 to $70. These are around $10 to $12. And then you just take links in and out. So this one would be too big for him, but it would probably fit him as an adult dog. You just take links in and out. It comes with a backup strap that you connect to your collar. I honestly don't use it. I've been using these collars for a long time, and I've never had one break. You can use it if you'd like, but they just snap back together like that. And then there's a little clip that you use to clip the collar on.